Habit 1. Be proactive. In principle, we are in full control. We're the boss. Being proactive means that you don't let your situation dictate your reality. It's about taking extreme ownership over one's life and rising above circumstance. This whole concept stems from meta-awareness, which is the ability to think about our own thought process. We can create models of ourselves from an external perspective. Such heightened self-consciousness is uniquely human and distinguishes us from the animal kingdom. We are not our feelings, our moods, nor our paradigms, but the higher awareness behind them. Self-awareness is the fundamental perception of effectiveness because you have the possibility to choose to optimize your behavior. Being reactive means that you take a passive stance towards life. The world is happening to you and the problem is somewhere out there. Such people say things like, "There's nothing I can do," and will simply stand there while getting beaten. Or, when they fail miserably, "That's just who I am. I have those failure genes." Because of their own limiting beliefs and doubts, they start recreating their own self-fulfilling prophecies over and over again. Proactive people, on the other hand, realize that they're in control. They have the responsibility and responsibility, which is the ability to choose how you're going to react to a given stimulus or situation.
This is your opportunity to rise from these ashes and grab glory.
How to become proactive? The first principle of proactivity is initiative. Rather than waiting for the universe to throw paint at you, you venture forth and make your own terms with life. It's about acting or being acted upon, taking the first step yourself, instead of waiting for the perfect moment or a divine revelation to hit you. At the same time, you don't take uncalculated or disorganized action either. You're grounded to the reality of the situation, but you also realize that you have the power to choose your response. Secondly, you have to pay close attention to the words you're using. Language has a huge impact on the way we perceive the world and what beliefs we have. People who talk reactively take the responsibility off themselves and project it onto others or their circumstance. Reactive language. "There's nothing I can do. That's just the way I am. He makes me so mad. They won't allow that. I have to do that. I can't. I must. I would fail." Proactive language. "Let's look at our alternatives. I can choose a different approach. I control my own feelings. I have the discipline. I will." Be very careful about how you talk to yourself. What words are you using to describe who you are, the circumstances you're in, and how you're going to behave in any situation? Our thoughts and perceptions create our reality.
You stay here. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
I've paid you a small fortune.
This gives you power over me?
The third way to become more proactive and self-aware is to look at where we focus our time and energy. Within our entire circle of concern, which is everything that concerns us, there lies another circle of influence, which is the things you can do something about. Reactive focus. Concentrate your efforts in the circle of concern, other people, problems in the environment and circumstances over which they have no control. Blaming, reactive language, and increased feeling of victimization creates negative energy that shrinks the circle of influence. Proactive focus. Concentrate your efforts in the circle of influence. Work on the things you can do something about, such as your own perception, your attitude, behavior, and habits. This energy is by nature positive and starts to enlarge the circle of influence. To determine in which circle our concern is in, we have to distinguish between the haves and the bees. The circle of concern is full of haves. I'll be happy when I have my house paid off. If only I had more discipline. If I could just have more time. The circle of influence is filled with the bees. I can be more patient. I can become who I want to be. I have enough willpower to be the greatest person I can be. This is the character focus. A reactive thought paradigm is outside in. What's out there has to change before we can. The proactive one is inside out, choosing to be different, and in so doing, to have a positive change on what's out there.
Absolutely. I think that, the question is, are you a product of your nature or your nurture? In other words, your genes or the way you were raised. I believe those things powerfully influence us, no question, but I think we're a product primarily of our choice to either of those things.
Even though we are free to choose our actions, we are not free to choose the consequences of those actions. When we choose a response in any situation, we also choose the consequences that follow. Sometimes we make mistakes and wrong decisions that cause consequences we would much rather live without. The feeling of regret belongs also to the circle of concern, and the proactive approach acknowledges that what's in the past is in the past, and there's nothing you can do about it. The proactive approach to a mistake is to acknowledge it right away, correct it, learn from it, and prevent making it in the future again. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're not ever going to fail. Much rather, it's about turning failures into successes. When you look at any great achievement, then rarely can you see the case in which success happened instantly in one shot. Of course, the exception enforces the rule, but most successful people pave their road to greatness with numerous failures. But this doesn't mean you should aim for failure. Instead, focus on being proactive and acting as opposed to being acted upon. Taking more action exposes you to more risk, but it also grants you the possibility of achieving something extraordinary. Proactivity is about moving forward, one fail after another, and stepping over your past mistakes until you reach the desired outcome.
Anger does not change the fact that your father failed to act.
A man had a gun.
Would that stop you?
I've had training.
The training is nothing. The will is everything. The will to act.
Action steps towards becoming more proactive. Actually following some actionable steps is especially important with proactivity because the term itself entails taking action. What can you do to implement habit 1 into your character ethic? 1. Take the initiative. Don't wait for the world to happen to you, but make your own terms with the world. Your dreams and plans won't turn into fruition if you simply wait for them to fall into your lap. It's much better to begin moving and make your adjustments along the way. 2. Start using proactive language. Be very careful what vocabulary you use to describe anything, especially yourself, and what you think is possible. Change your paradigm. 3. Concentrate your efforts on your circle of influence and focus on what you can control. And 4. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn from them and turn your failures into future successes. My name is Sim. Thanks for watching.